Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Learning Music Theory. This week we're going to be looking at cadences. A cadence is when you move from one chord to another chord. So it's quite a lot like intervals where you move from one note to another, but where you've got a name for every interval, you haven't got a name for every cadence. So today I'm just going to point out 5 different cadences. I'm just going to be using C for these examples, but it works in any key. It's just because C's simple to show it off. So the first one that we've got is a perfect cadence. And to do this we go from the 5th, which in C is the G, and then we move that down to the 1st, which is C. If we put those together, whenever you land on a 5th, it generally wants to resolve back to the 1st. So I'll just try out a chord progression in C, and then I'll finish it on G. And in our heads we can already hear where that chord should land. So finish there, it wants to resolve back down to the 1st. So I'll play that again. The next one we're going to look at is called the Plago Cadence, and that's when we go from the 4th chord, so in C that's F, down to the 1st chord, which is C again. And I'll play that for you now. It's used quite a lot in churches, so it's also known as Amen cadence, as in Amen. But it's used in many pop songs and the classic 4-chord song, as it's got this strong relationship going back down to the 1st. So I'll play an example now. And you can hear that it wants to resolve back down to the 1st again. Now the next one we're going to talk about is an imperfect cadence. The imperfect cadence goes from 1 to 5, and this is in the 4-chord song, so it explains why it's used in so many songs. So I'll play that again for you now, but just listen to the first cadence that we use. It doesn't sound finished. We want to carry it on. If we finished the song there, it'd drive people mad. So carry it on. And now the next one is called an interrupted cadence. This is when we expect a perfect cadence, so 5 down to 1, but instead of playing the 1, we'll go to a minor chord. So that can either be 2, 3, or 6. And guess what? In the 4-chord song, it happens again. So now we'll look at the second cadence that happens in that song. Using these interrupted cadences can often just bring a bit of interest into your chord progression, and that's why it's used in the 4-chord songs. If we were to just use perfect and imperfect cadences all the way throughout, we'd just be going C, G, C, G, and it ends up sounding a bit like a nursery rhyme, a bit childish in its writing style. But if you're adding this interrupted cadence, there's a bit of interest there already, and then why not, we chuck in a plagal at the end. Although this is my least favourite chord progression, and I've tried to stay clear of it as long as I've been songwriting, you can't help but admire the thought that's actually gone into it. They've used 3 out of 5 cadences, which brings me on to the 5th cadence. This next one's known as Tierce to Picardy. This is a bit different from the normal ones, and it's where if you're in a minor key and you've been playing a minor chord progression, instead of resolving to the 1st using a minor chord, you change that minor chord to a major chord. So I'll play that to you now. So we're just using A minor here. A minor, G, F. And then we've gone to an A major. And that can just add a bit of interest, and you can then change what key you're in. So I'm just going to do another example in C where I go into another chord progression that ends up in C major. So I'm starting in C minor. And there we go, that's 5 cadences that you can try out on your own pieces, and it'll just help gel some of your chord progressions together. It's only been a short lesson, but if you did like the video, like down below. There'll also be my Facebook link. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe over here. And if you want to see more videos like this, check these out. Right, cheers, bye.